It's 5 p.m. and suddenly it hits you. The report you've been putting off, the one that's due tomorrow, hasn't even been started. You sit down at your desk, open your laptop, and instinctively check your phone. Just a quick scroll. Maybe catch up on your favorite YouTube channel. Maybe respond to a few messages. Then your stomach growls. Dinner first, right? Cooking is something you enjoy usually, but tonight it feels like a chore. And now, just like that, the evening has slipped away. Maybe tomorrow you'll get it done. Sound familiar? That, my friend, is procrastination in action. But why does it happen? Why do we delay things we know are important, even when the consequences are staring us in the face? First, let's be clear. Not all delays are procrastination. Choosing what to do first, prioritizing tasks, responsible time management, requires putting off some things for a reason. Procrastination, however, is different. It's when we avoid a task we intended to do, despite knowing it will harm us. We don't gain anything. We only suffer in the long run. It might seem irrational, and it is. But here's the twist. Procrastination is actually your brain trying to protect you. When you realize you have to write that report, your brain reacts as if it's a threat. Your amygdala, a small but powerful part of the brain responsible for processing emotions and detecting danger, kicks in. It releases adrenaline and other stress hormones, creating a fight, flight, or freeze response. Suddenly, your rational prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that plans ahead and regulates emotions, gets drowned out by fear and stress. And what do you do in response? You avoid the threat. You do anything else. Clean the kitchen, check social media, even organize your pens. Anything to escape the discomfort. It might seem extreme. After all, it's just a report, not a bear chasing you through the forest. But studies show that we are most likely to procrastinate on tasks that evoke negative emotions, dread, anxiety, fear of failure, and insecurity. Students who procrastinate report that tasks feel much more stressful when they're delaying them than when they actually engage with them. In other words, the fear grows bigger in our minds the longer we avoid the work. A task that seemed manageable an hour ago becomes terrifying by evening. Some people are more vulnerable to procrastination than others. Those with difficulty regulating emotions, low self-esteem, or high perfectionism are especially prone. And here's the kicker. Procrastinators aren't lazy. Laziness is the absence of energy, the desire to do nothing. Procrastinators, on the other hand, often fill their time with low-priority tasks. They clean, scroll, cook, or organize, not because they lack energy, but because they care too much. They're trying to avoid failure, criticism, or disappointment. Their high standards trap them in a loop of avoidance, and the consequences aren't minor. Chronic procrastination increases stress and anxiety, fosters depression, leads to feelings of shame, and even affects physical health. But there's a cruel paradox. Procrastination also reduces stress in the moment. By avoiding the task, we feel relief, which reinforces behavior. This is why it's so hard to break free. Our brains are wired to reward short-term comfort, even at the expense of long-term success. So, how do we break this cycle? For years, the advice was discipline strict schedules and sheer willpower. But research suggests the opposite can work better. Being too harsh adds layers of negative emotion, making the task feel even more threatening. To overcome procrastination, we need to reduce the fear, anxiety, and self-criticism surrounding the task. We need to treat ourselves with patience, not punishment. There are practical strategies to do this. Start by breaking the task into smaller, manageable pieces. Write down exactly what needs to be done and tackle it step by step. Journaling helps, too. Write about why the task stresses you out, acknowledge those feelings, and then plan a way forward. Remove distractions. Phones, notifications, background apps, they all make it too easy to give in to impulses. Another crucial step is self-compassion. Forgive yourself for past delays, and remind yourself that perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. Instead of saying, "I'm lazy," or "I'll never finish this," try telling yourself, "I can start, and I will improve along the way." This subtle shift in self-talk can reduce anxiety and make the task less threatening. And momentum matters. Often, the hardest part is starting. Once you take the first step, just writing a paragraph, sending one email, or reading one page, You overcome the initial stress barrier. Your brain recognizes that the threat isn't as bad as it imagined. Each small success builds confidence and reduces avoidance. Time management itself isn't enough. You need emotional management. Address the dread before it grows. Reduce the perceived threat of the task. Combine practical steps with compassion. Focus on progress, not perfection. And remember, procrastination is normal. It doesn't mean you're lazy, incompetent, or weak. It means your brain is responding to fear and stress, trying to protect you. The trick is learning to work with your brain, not against it. By understanding the mechanisms of procrastination, acknowledging your emotions, and using smart strategies, you can take control of your time and reduce stress. Start small, forgive yourself, remove distractions, and break the work into digestible pieces. Each action chips away at the cycle. Over time, tasks that once felt unbearable start to feel manageable, even doable, and that, in itself, creates momentum for the next challenge. So next time you feel the urge to delay, remember, your brain is trying to help you survive, but survival in the modern world doesn't require avoidance. It requires action. It requires understanding, patience, and strategy. It requires knowing that progress, no matter how small, beats perfect inaction every time. Take a deep breath. Start. One small step is all it takes.